In this short video, I'm going to talk all about the app called Trello. Now, I'm showing you this on a desktop, and I think that's the best way of using Trello. The first thing you need to do is to create an account in the normal way. And then you'll come to this screen, and the first thing you're going to do is to create a board. Now, a board needs a name. Let's call this book ideas. And there's no team, but you could add other members in your work team. I'm going to make this a private board because it's just an ideas board. I don't want to share it with anybody, but you could send people a link to it if you wanted to share it. Now I want a plain background and I'm going to choose blue, and we create the board like this. So you have a blank screen here, and essentially what you're going to do is to fill this with lists. So book ideas. So I've come up with an idea for a travel book, and we're going to investigate different regions, for instance. I'm going to start with Europe. It's going to be a travel book all about camping, and then I might put in Asia and the United States and Australia. So underneath each of these, we have cards. So it's a bit like having a big box called Europe and then adding in cards to my box, which are maybe countries in this circumstance. So let's just have France. And then another one. If I want to add more detail to my France card, then I'm simply going to add on the maybe a due date. And let's say this is the 28th of September, and save that. That means I get reminders when this is due for completion. To add fuller detail, I double click on the card, and up comes this screen, this pop-up here. Once again, I can add members to this card. I can put in a label, which means that it will have more information. I'll just call this campsite names for this card. And we'll create that label. I can add more description to my card. This is particularly useful if you're sharing it across a team. So let's put in campsites for families. Now, the good thing about this is when you make a mistake, what you can do is you can easily erase it, and also you can move your cards around. So that means you've got full flexibility on this. It saves your activity going back here. You can add in a checklist. Let's have a checklist here. So I might add in regions that I want to research campsites for families within France. So you can see it becomes a really useful way of carrying this out. So let's just put in some regions of France to show you what I'm talking about. Whoops, Brittany. Another one would be Rhone, and then maybe the Alps. And I'm going to add that in. Now I finished this for now. Let's look at the impact on here. Under here you can see that I've got the due date, I've got the fact that it's got a description, and I've done 0 of my 3 checklists. Similarly, I can add another card in here. Really simple to do. So that is how to create lists, and within lists, cards in Trello. It's got lots more functionality. Now, what I suggest you do is you go on to Trello Inspiration, which is this URL here, I've got the event planning section up here, and you can see public boards created by other people. Here's a wedding day timeline board created by somebody publicly. They've got a nice background, they've got morning, afternoon, ceremony, reception and vendors. Then each card is a time with what's going to happen. Here's an example of a life goals board. So we've got personal, professional, ideas, done. So I would highly recommend using Trello for all your project planning. It's a really useful app and one I've found extremely beneficial for planning the Homepreneur book.